A freilichen and lichtige Chanukah Tavshin Pei Aleph. It's been an unbelievable year. It's a night of gratitude. Let me tell you a little bit about where this came from. But you can't start a night of gratitude without starting with thanks. So let me first say thank you all for not coming out tonight. We appreciate everybody not coming out to this event. That's the way that we now come out to events. We don't come out to them. To thank Chazaq, Torah Anytime, thank you Hashem, all the different organizations that are involved in spreading the light of Torah and spreading the light of, specifically, of Akar Satoiv, of Hodah. A few years ago, for those of you that haven't been to the first two of our events, so my wife, after some particularly difficult times in Klal Yisrael, the tzibur, the kehillah, we were experiencing some things, befrat, particularly in our kehillah, but all around in Klal Yisrael, there were things happening a few years ago. And my wife commented that, we're getting together, we're having these gatherings and Tehillim gatherings and main parties and all these programs in order to combat the difficulties, to get Hashem to change the gezeros. And she commented, she said, why don't we just get together, like all of Klal Yisrael, a whole bunch of people get together and just say thank you Hashem. Just thank you Hashem. Stop, just in the middle of the week on as my Rebbe says, a Tuesday in Tavis, and say thank you Hashem for no other reason, not to get together to say we're sorry, not to get together to beg for forgiveness, not to get together for anything like that, just simply to say thank you Hashem. Thank you. And it was a great idea. And like many great ideas, when given over to a man, they don't get done. It's just the way we go. And after a long time, I was talking about it, and I think I was giving it in my weekly women's share. I was telling it over what a great idea this would be and how I feel this would bring Mashiach. And one of the girls said, so why didn't you do it? I'm like, yeah, no, we men, we talk about it and we hypothesize and philosophize and conceptualize, but we don't do. Right? That's why we put on tefillin, men, to connect between the mind and the arm and the heart and the world of action. We don't naturally do that. We need women behind us to push us. And so the idea was born that maybe we should get together and say thank you Hashem. And the first time we got together, this is the third year, first time we did it with Neish Kodesh, myself, my Rebbe, Rav Moshe Weinberger, the amazing Charlie Harari, my brother. And we got together and we spoke about simply saying thank you Hashem for being Yidden. And what I spoke about that night was learning how to be thankful to be a Yid. And for those of you that hopefully this is your third time, your annual Chazaq, you're making a Chazaq on this. So hopefully you still have your notebook of gratitude, your gratitude notebook, where you're writing down things that you're thankful for. And we talked about that night was simply learning how to be thankful for the Rabbi Shalom in your life, for being a Yid. To be thankful to be a Yid, how important that is, and how to give that over to our children. Then last year, it was in the White Shul, myself and Rebbetzin Silva, young Rice Wolf, who is tonight, I think, joining us again. So last year we took it a step further. And last year we spoke about particularly and specifically the Indian of Chanukah, being connected to being happy that you're not just a Yid, but you, the Yid that you are, in the time that you are, with the spouse that you have, or without the spouse, and with the children, and with the parents, and with your particular situation, and the issue based so that every person, the Mahajim and Mahajim, is every person lights their own light. Not just as Chanukah we get together and we pursue Nisa as Klal Yisrael, that's of course. But the next step level after that is to be thankful for your particular situation. And Chanukah is the Yontif of Hodah, Lahoides or Halal. It's a Midas of Hod, or the Svarim HaKadoshim talk about the Midah of Hod, that is so prevalent and shining during this moment. It came through Yehudis, Lahodos, to thank. So tonight I want to take it a step further, and for a few minutes talk about what's the next level. And what do we need to be putting in our gratitude journals? And I hope really everybody's keeping it. If you don't have one and you haven't been here before, really take a journal. It's better on pen and paper, not just in your phone. Have one more thing that you don't do in your phone. And to write down the things that you're thankful for. And to prioritize that list, and to think about the list, and to take the list out during difficult times, and to read it and say, look how much I have. And get particular with the list, and get into the details and the nitty-gritty, so to speak, of what you're thankful for, not just the big things. So tonight we're going to take an approach that really, it's really be'ikr found in, it's be'ikr what it means to be a Yid. It's everything what it means to be a Yid, and it's everything that Hanukkah is really about on a deeper level. And it's found in the Chidah, it's found in the Kedushas Levi, it's found in lots of places. But the ikr is to use the darkness to shape the light. See, the light, the R is the R of Hanukkah, is the R of Hodah. Vayar Shamar Kitov, to see things that they're good. That's the first time you have R, the first time you have Tov. Vayar Shamar Kitov. They're connected. The light is always there about recognizing good. That's to enlighten what's going on and to see things for what they really are. It's a famous Weis with Rabbi Eliyahu Dessler. My Rebbe said it over tonight. He reminded me of it. That Rav Dessler took out a big piece of paper with a little black dot in the middle, and he showed his talmidim. He says, "What do you see here?" And everybody raised their hand. He said, "We see a black dot." And he said, "Yidden, talmidim, entirely Yidden. 99% of this paper, if not more, is all white and clean and clear. And all you notice is that one little black dot. There's so much that we don't notice simply. What we focus in is on the little black dots of our lives." Now there's a saying that the Chidah has, and he says in his Sefer, it's found in Pesach Einayim, in other places, Ein ha'or nikar ella mitoch ha'choshech. That light is only recognized through darkness. The whole inyan of darkness, by Boker, to have a night first, to have a yavan, to have a choshech, is only to get to a place of light, and to make that light shine a lot brighter. The Gemara in Shabbos on Chaf Aleph Amud Beis tells us in the Medrash and the Megillah Eicha, the Megillah on Chanukah, it says that Timu Kol Hashmanim Beheichel, that the Yevanim came in and they were matama all the oils of the Heichel, every single one. And the Medrash tells us that it really was every single one, that it was all tummy. They defiled every single drop that there was. But the Chashmonaim came in after their battle, and they found one pach echad shel shemen munach v'chos moshe kohen gadol, sealed with the seal of the kohen gadol. They found. So what's that about? That was because they decided to search. In other words, if there was not fully darkness and fully filled with tama and hopelessness, they wouldn't have searched. They would have found one, and you wouldn't have had the miracle of that light, of finding the light. The miracle was that because it was totally dark, they felt that they had to search, and there must be light somewhere. There must be purity. There must be tahara. There must be shemen somewhere. It can't be all darkness. So what the darkness does is it forces us to recognize the light. And there are two ways to really do this. There's in our own lives, and then there's looking outside. The Kedushas Levi says, "Bashamayim ma'av al aretz mitachas." The Kedushas Levi doesn't say that's the pasuk. That's what we daven in tefillah. Bashamayim ma'al al aretz mitachas. The Kedushas Levi says, "Bashamayim ma'al." It's a perspective. It's a way to look at things. When it comes to Bashamayim, things of Ruchnius, things of spirituality, mima'al, look at people above you. Always look at people ahead of you and say, I got to try more, I got to do more, I got to get up early for minyan, I got to learn more, I got to make another seder, I got to work on my tznius, I got to work on my lashon hara, because look at that person, look how great they are. I got to have more amunah, I've got to be friendlier to people, I've got to be more sensitive to people, because look at this person, look at this rebbetzin, and look at this. Bashamayim mima'al, you always look at people ahead of you. Bala aretz, when it comes to gashmias, when it comes to things of this world, mitachas, look at people below you. Look at people and say, you know what? I'm looking for a shidduch, I'm looking for parnasa, I'm looking for this, for that. Look at how many people don't have. Maybe stop and be thankful for what you do have. Because the key, and this is brought down in so many places, in the Brussels Farm, the key to getting more bracha in our lives, and I've been told this directly by a tremendous tzaddik and makubal from Eretz Yisrael that I'm close with, where he told me to learn to thank Hashem for the difficulties you have, for the tests you have. Really look at them and thank Hashem for them. And I think the depth of Hanukkah is to thank Hashem not necessarily for the Or, but for the Choshech. For the Choshech that brings us to the Or. Because what you really do then, if you realize that the Choshech is part of bringing the Or out, so then what's really Choshech? What's the difficulties? What's the traumas? What's the trials and tribulations and the challenges of our lives? There are. They themselves are brachas. They themselves are tov. Because it brings us to a greater state of connection to Hashem, of recognition of Hashem. Of l'hoder halal of the Rabbi Shalom. So by looking at the difficulties outside of us, that's going around in the world, and how dafka in this last year, how many tragedies and sufferings we've seen outside of our homes, loss of parnasa and loss of life and sickness, and nebuch, all the things that have come from it, the mental illnesses and the people struggling. And if you didn't have all of that or only had some of that, for you to say, Baruch Hashem, like, this is, and when you have another different problem, say, Baruch Hashem, this is my problem. And it's not that. It's not much worse. Then there's looking at your own darkness and taking stock for all the brachas you have. And when things go bad inside, to realize how good you had it until then. And to realize that everything is a gift. The whole Indian of Hanukkah is that everything is a gift. Everything is a gift. And sometimes in order for you to realize you have gifts, it's got to be taken away. You have to have a little choshech to realize how much or you have. It's the way that it works. When it's truly dark and you light a little bit of a light, if you're walking around with a candle, until you go into the darkness, you don't really chop that you have a candle. You go into the darkness, like, oh wow, candle burns bright. It's the Indian of all of our challenges. This is only to bring us closer to Rabbi Shalom. But to bring the choshech mamish into R, not just conceptually R, but to bring it and make it into R, we've got to learn to be thankful for all that choshech, to be thankful for the difficulties and the challenges and the yivanim in our lives. So there's a beautiful, I don't know if it's a poem, it's something I saw a while ago. We have it on our fridge in my house. It's called The Attitude of Gratitude. The author it's told over to be in front of from different people. I saw it brought down as from this woman, Kristen Lamb. I don't know who that is, but it's a beautiful poem. I'm thankful for all the laundry I have to do because it means I have clothes to wear. I'm thankful for the dishes that need washing because it means I didn't go hungry. I'm thankful for the big electric bill because it means my home has lights and heat. In other words, to look at the choshech, say, oh, it's such a tough day at work. Oh, so Baruch Hashem, you have work. Oh, that shidduch date was so horrible. Oh, you got a shidduch date. Baruch Hashem. The traffic was so horrible. Oh, so you have a car. My feet are hurting. Oh, so you have feet that walk. I'm not feeling well. I'm throwing up. I'm sick. Oh, so you have a working intestinal system. Oh, Chazdei Hashem. Chazdei Hashem. I'm thankful for the big electric bill because it means my home has lights and heat. I'm thankful for the sheets that need to be changed because it means I own a bed. I'm thankful for all the reading I have to do because it means I am literate. I'm thankful for the car that needs an oil change because it means I don't have to walk miles and miles to get what I need. I'm thankful for that parking space way out in the back because it means I don't have to park in a handicapped space, I can walk. I'm thankful for the garage that needs to be cleaned out because it means I'm blessed with plenty. I'm thankful for the chores to be done because it means I have family who love me enough to travel to see me. I'm thankful for the litter box that needs cleaning and the dog blankets that need washing because it means I have 2 pets who love me unconditionally. Okay, that's not such a Jewish thing. But I'm thankful for the split ends I have because it means I haven't lost all my hair to chemo. Oh, okay, I'm going to skip that one. I'm thankful for she says, cards I need to send. She's talking about the other Yom Tov happening today, because they could as easily be funeral announcements. I'm thankful for the traffic snarls that catch me, because the body the fireman pulled out of the fatality accident could have been me. Can you imagine? We get to a thing and say, oh, an accident up ahead. I have to sit in traffic. Would you say that if the person that was a family member of the person in the accident was sitting next to you? Who do you think Rabbi Shalom missed that person in the accident? Rabbi Shalom's Kaloni Rosh McLean Mizari, the Gemara says that when he has to do things like that, how it hurts him. When he has to do things to us, how it hurts him. So we complain about how it hurts us. We have to think about these things. This is what the Indian of Hanukkah is, to bring this light into our lives. I'm thankful for the gutters I need to clean, because it means that I have a home. I'm thankful for the Hanukkah shopping I have to do, because it means I'm not alone. I'm thankful for my less than perfect, this is really, thighs. It means I didn't lose my legs in a car accident or to an IED. I'm thankful that I sometimes have doubts and confusion about my future, my purpose, when I think of the lives cut short before they ever had a future. People are worried, what am I going to do next year? Or the seminary, I didn't get into seminary. Baruch Hashem, you're in the parsha of going out to try out for seminaries. And Baruch Hashem, you're going to get into one. I'm thankful for the government I like to gripe about, because I don't fear going to prison or being shot if I disagree with my country's leadership. Big thing to be thankful in America. I'm thankful for my freedom and the amazing men and women who put their lives on the line to protect it. I'm definitely thankful for all of you who bless me 3 times a week by giving me your time. I guess, I don't know who she's talking about here, but we have to be thankful. We have to look at everything that happens to us and say, what is this telling me about being thankful? What have I not been thankful enough before that Hashem has to give me this wake-up call? I'll share with you a Maisa that I heard many years ago to end with. It's an unbelievable story. The story is said from Rav Nachum of Chernobyl, Untitled Chernobyl's father. Rav Nachum of Chernobyl, big tzaddik. So Rav Nachum was coming to town, he was visiting a town. The story said it in a few different ways. I'll tell you the version that I heard. Rav Nachum was coming to town, and the Hasidim were all excited. They wanted to come to see him. And of course, when the Rebbes came to town, so they went to a home that was B'kavadik that could host them. Most of the Rebbes, most of the Tzaddikim did. And the Rebbe went to one of the wealthy men in the community's home, a chassid of his, and he knew this chassid was very particular about his house. Everything, they had a big, beautiful white carpet and drapes, and then back then that was a big thing. And the Rebbe came in, and it was a cold and wet night outside, and there was muddy streets. They didn't have paved streets. And the Rebbe saw as he was coming in, and Hasidim were coming in to visit him and to be Makabel Pnei Rav, to get brachas. This guy was like, every time somebody took a step and there was mud on the carpet. And so the Rebbe said, he called him over, he said, Maishal, or whatever his name was, Yankel. He said, Yankel, well, what's the matter? You're happy to see me or not? Seems like you're upset by me being here. He says, no, Rebbe, it's fine. It's just, I've paid a lot of money for this, the carpet and the... Rebbe said, I want to tell you a story. Listen to the story that the Rebbe told Yankel. It's a story we have to really think about today. More applicable to Yankel, though. The Rebbe said, you know, Yankel, there was a Yid, a Rosh Marusha, a few generations ago, a Rosh Marusha. The guy didn't just do every Avera that came to him. He went to find every Avera that he could find. Taivas Nashim, and Gezela, and Sheker, and Nevelis, and Trefus, and Michal Shabbos, Farhesia, everything you can imagine, this guy did. Rosh Marusha, a Yid. But a Yid's a Yid. A Yid's a Yid, and we're Rachmanim him. Klal Yisrael Rachmanim. And it happened one time that he was riding in his carriage, he was a wealthy guy, and he heard crying coming from off the road into the forest a little bit. And he went to go check it out because he's a Baal Rachman. And he goes into the forest, and lo and behold, there's a family, a poor family, and they're in their carriage with an old beat up horse, and it's getting sucked into the mud. They can't get out. And it's almost like their life's in danger. It's cold, it's damp, and the mud's getting into the carriage. They can't even open the doors. They're going to drown in mud. So the guy gets out of his carriage, quickly runs to see what he can do, and he's pulling and he's trying to get the whipping the horse, and it's like they say in Yiddish, is gainish, it's not going. It's budging. He gets like his neck into the mud himself to try to push out and get he get going, and they're going to die. So he hooks up his carriage to the horses and he whips his horses, and after hours of trying, finally he was able to stabilize. He was able to save them and the horse, and he brings them into his home and he cleans them up, and he is filthy. His carriage is filthy, filled with mud. His horses are filled with mud and filthy, and sure enough, it took its toll on him, and never he passed away. He passed away from an act of Mesiras Nefesh for another year for a whole family of Yidden. So he went up to Shemayim, and they carried out his din, and the scale of the side of Averis, the side of Ra, was heavily weighed down, and it wasn't even close. So the Malachim said, okay, listen, this guy's got no redeeming qualities. So the Malachim said, well, what are you talking about? He saved the Jewish family. So they said, you got to put the Jewish family, that's how he died. You have to save the Jewish family, put them on the scale, on the Tov. So they put the Jewish family, they were a skinny family. They didn't have much money, didn't have much food. They didn't weigh it down so much. The Malachim said, wait, you saved nefesh achas min Klal Yisrael, one nefesh. It's ki'ilu, you saved olam mali, an entire world, the Mishnah says. So Dori Doris, you have to put all the generations on, not just them. Put all the generations that are going to come out till Mashiach from this family. So they did. It moved it tremendously, but still, the Averis was so heavy, it was so much, it just didn't do it. This is all Rav Nachum telling this over to the Yankel. He says, you know what happened then, Yankel? The Malachim, the good Malachim, they want to save this guy. They don't want to see Yid go to a bad place. And they said, what about the horses? The other Malachim said, come on, you're getting crazy already, stop it. He said, listen, a horse is a horse. They saved a life. Tzar b'l'chaim. Put the horses on the scale. And then finally, to make a long story, put the Dori Doris, all the horses' children on the scale. At this point, it was getting to be a fool's court, and the Malachim for Ra, the Kitchug, the Kateger, the accuser was saying, enough of this. Let's go. This guy it's still not there. It's way off. They said, what about the mud? So what do you mean, what about the mud? I said, what about the mud? Put the mud on the scale. This guy was a fancy guy. He went to schlep into the mud. The mud ultimately is what killed him. It weighed him down, and what made this whole thing difficult. You have to appreciate the mud. And the Malachim said, this is ridiculous. And the Bezdin said, this is ridiculous, and send them to Gehenna. But the Rabbi Shalom stepped in, and the Rabbi Shalom said, wait a second. There's a taina here. They have a good claim. But we don't know if this guy really appreciates the mud. Let's send them back down to earth. We're going to send them the neshama back down, and let's see what he thinks about mud in this world. If he appreciates the mud, the difficulties, the struggles. If he appreciates it, then we know that the mud is chashiv, means something. We can put it on the scale and we could save his life. So the Rebbe goes, Nu Yankel, what do you think about mud now? It was Yankel himself. The Rebbe this whole thing was a setup. He was the Gilgal, and he was there to decide. And the Yankel says, bring him in, man. Let's muddy this place up. I appreciate the mud. It's now at the end of time, where the footsteps of Mashiach can be heard. And what's going to save us is all the mud that we had to go through, the challenges, the trials, the tribulations, the difficulties, the traumas, the darkness that each one of us experiences in our lives. It's tough. It's very tough out there. If you appreciate the mud, you look at it, you think about it, you think about where it's trying to bring you to. We appreciate that mud. The story happened, by the way, on Hanukkah. The story happened on Hanukkah, where he went to go visit. Hanukkah is about appreciating the darkness and turning it into light. The Rebbe should give us all kochos to have a karsa tov for everything that happens to us, everything, and everything mama should be an ar galui, a revealed light, a tov galui, a revealed tov. We should be done already with the mud, done with the darkness, step into the light, but to realize that sometimes, in fact not sometimes, but all the time, You need to step through the darkness to find the greatest light. Rabbi Shalom should bring Taka, the greatest light. The Arshal Mashiach, Meher v'Yameinu, Amen v'Amen. A freilich and lichtig Chanukah, everybody. Thank you for not coming.